Shalom, shalom. Kol halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophet of that body, and shalom to the 144,001 third. May peace and blessings and the spirit of endurance be upon you and your households as we approach the end. Right? All right. As you know, as you know what's going on in America. Okay. I've seen quite a few immigration raids here in the UK as well, especially on my street. So they're gonna come down hard upon Jake in America and Jake over here. But let's just focus on ground zero, America. All right, we've seen video and footage, all right, which a lot of the apostles and elders and brothers have made, men of Great Millstone, our teachers, in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yashai. And please subscribe to them. And once again, double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone, okay? And shalom to the prophets of that body, right? We've seen people, right? Men, women, right? Israelites, mainly of the Northern Kingdom, so-called Hispanics, okay? Native Indians, all right? They're actually grabbing up Native Indians, the tribe of Gad, that have been in America for thousands of years, okay? They're the so-called aboriginals of the land. They own the land. It is their land. Okay, so therefore, if it's our brother's land, okay, our one of our brothers, a tribe of Gad, so therefore it belongs to America. I'm sorry, the America belongs to Jake. Even though America is going to be destroyed, this is just from the outside looking in, we know that, right? But the fact remains is Esau got some, some nerve. The so-called white man, Esau Edom, got some nerve, with doing what he's doing. Stealing from lands, graping other lands, right? Stealing the natural resources and wealth, and then calling them SHIT lands or shithole lands, as to say it how it is, right? If it's such a shithole, why are you going there to take everything? It wasn't a shithole before your cracker ass got there, before your pigskin flesh ass got there and put your feet there, right? It was a vibrant, beautiful land before you ever put your foot there, just the same America was, the same way India was, the same way Australia was, other parts of the world where the so-called white man has gone there and spread his poison, okay? But fast forward today, they're still doing the same thing, all right? They're proud, but they're scumbags. They're like, they're like spittle. They're nobody people, man. 2 Ezra 6 verse 54 lets you know that there are nobody people. They're like spit, okay? They're like that last drop from a vessel. The Lord doesn't care about them, all right? The Lord does not care about these Edomites. But what we're watching in real time is the downfall of the so-called white man. We're going to see him at his extreme pride, and Trump is an example of that. And we're going to see him when he's on the floor licking the dust, okay, bowing down to us in this, under this, in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yashai. The Lord's going to make this damn devil bow down. They're going to bow down to the Lord, and they're going to bow down to us very soon. All right. Okay, so before things get better, it's going to get worse, okay, because, learning good from evil and being a ruler of a land and learning righteousness, we've got the hopeful elect have to go through the straight gate. And, as we've seen in America, we've seen children screaming, crying, women being gripped up, taken away, even if they produce the right identification, they're still being grabbed up, okay? My theory is if a woman is attractive or semi-attractive or built nice, a lot of these Edomites, even if they're so-called racist, people assume that, Edomites are, or if a person, a so-called white man, has sex with a woman of color, he's not racist. The slave masters were raping black and Hispanic and Native Indian women, even though they were racist. Okay, being racist has no connection for a man desiring to grape a woman. Okay? And these Edomites are so foul; they have such a foul nature. Okay, as they say, as in the book of Job, it's mentioned. Okay, even Job mentioned that he wouldn't even put them with his dogs. All right, because these damn devils, what they get down, they was kissing their dogs in the mouth and having their dogs eat off the same plate and have their dogs in the same in the bed, fleas everywhere and shit. And some of these dogs, as foul as it is, they get, they have sex with their dog, man. I hate to even say that in the same sentence. It's disgusting. right? That's how they are. All right. So a lot of these women, children, and men are going missing. Bodies are being thrown in the ocean, right? Women are being raped. They're not being seen again. All right. Even Elder Malcolm, I believe, a few months ago mentioned that he knows somebody, right? And Shalom to the Elder, GMS Chicago, mentioned that he knows somebody. I think it was a Northern Kingdom Jake that was scoffing a while back. Lord willing, I'm saying it correctly. And his wife was taken, this Northern Kingdom Jake's. And he was saying that, he doesn't know where his wife is, right? Or it was a Southern Kingdom Jake and he was married to a Northern Kingdom woman, one or the other, right? So these things are happening, even if you have your ID, even if you're legal, because you got a lot of so-called white people, all right? You got a lot of Polish, you got a lot of Russians, same way you got over here in the UK, right? A lot of Edomites, so-called white people coming from other parts of the world, coming to America as drug addicts, as criminals and ex-convicts and losers, bums, right? That are no good to society. But they're bypassing why? As Paul Mooney would say, they got the complexion for the protection, or they got the lack of a complexion. They basically are pale, pig-skinned, just like an Edomite, because they are Edomites, right? And ICE ain't looking for them. Okay, the powers that be ain't looking for them. Why? Because they're so-called white people. All right. America was made great by the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man from every aspect, from style to music to culture to hip talk, right? To all the inventions, all the technological advances, right? All the foods, ice cream, peanut butter, right? Operations, surgical operations, traffic lights. I can go on and on and on. The so-called white man didn't come up with them ideas. The only thing they invented was a patent office, right? But now they got everything. Now they got AI to even mimic Jake's music, from all the music genres: rock and roll, soul, reggae, reggaeton, right? And all soul, R&B, rock and roll, jungle, grime, soca, salsa, merengue, whatever, right? I'm just coming up with some names on the top of my head, right? Every genre is by an Israelite. Okay, now they've got AI to, now they've used you, they've abused you, raped you, used you, you know, wringed you out like a wet towel, right? Now they want to destroy you, okay, because they don't need you no more, because they know we've got rulership next. The same way they were, even though this C19 disease came out of so-called China, and they staged a couple of crisis actors, a couple of gooks, right, to pretend that they're being beaten up by people because they brought the so-called 19 disease in or whatever, right? But then after that, why were they saying, okay, we have to vaccinate? I'm saying in code, vaccinate the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian when they have no connection to China in terms of that disease, that 19 thing, and they didn't come up with it. Why? Why do they keep putting you Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives in the forefront of this, or of every single situation in America? Because Esau says, there's never let a crisis go to waste, right? Okay. Why are they coming for you? They're coming for you because you are the children of Israel. We have rulership next. 2nd Ezra 6 verse 9. For Esau, the so-called white man, is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right? Rulership's going to change. We got next. We got next. And at the same time, in this case again, with this immigration thing, the natives, the Hispanics that are natives also, because they are of the ones that are indigenous descent, they were conquered by the Spaniards, given Catholicism, and took on Spanish last names, right? Because they were raped and conquered. Yes, there's heathens amongst them, but there's a lot of Israelites amongst them too. All right? Because we ran Spain, so a lot of some of those conquerors that probably look like crackers or Spaniards were probably Jake. That's true as well, They were raping native women. They were just Jake, a Jake man that looks like a honky probably just raped a couple of native Indian women. That was going on too. So there's Israelites are still there. All right, Hosea 1 and 10. Okay, we're like the sands of the sea. You can't eliminate us. All right, you can't do it, as Benjamin would say. You can't do it. All right. And now, in this time, that's why they're coming hard for you. They attacked a tower block or a projects in Chicago. Okay, going for the tribe of Levi, Haitians, and the tribe of Benjamin, West Indians. They're gonna come for you, you Judite brothers too. All right. You think that, oh yeah, yeah, Mexicans are taking your jobs. Even Mike Epps makes jokes about that. True. The tribe of Issachar are a hardworking nation. All of our people are hardworking. All right, but that's just Jake, cracking on Jake. But nevertheless, okay, it's a color thing. All right, if you got a skin tone, if you got melanin, if you got that brown skin, right, and your name is Sanchez or Tassoni or Leone, or I don't know, I'm just coming up with some Latino type surnames. All right, or if you got a French surname and you're a so-called black man or whatever, right, they're gonna grip you up, and they're gonna grip you up anyway. you know, all right, they're gonna grip you up anyway, and they might do something to you where you can't speak, and they can say, oh yeah, he's illegal, and get rid of all your documentation. Even if you produce your documentation, even if you have your documentation, that's still not enough. Okay, because remember, they get, these ICE people are like headhunters. Like in the back in the day when these crackers came over to America, didn't they get paid like $5 to $10 per native Indian's head with long hair? And they were deleting Edomite babies, and sorry, it's like they were deleting native babies, Gadite babies, and men and women, taking their heads just for the long hair, or scalping them, pretending that it was a actual warrior's hair so they can get paid for it. They're being paid for for scalps. The same thing. Fast forward today, ICE is just the same thing, man. They're being paid per body. They're getting sign-up bonuses of 50 G's. So they've got a hunger, a bloodlust as well to shoot that gun because they're gun-toting idiots, right? Okay, because most of them are Edomites. Then you got Jake amongst them that are thinking, okay, you know what? This is my way to get paid. I've got my family to take care of. And they don't really give a shit. And some of these niggas that are in front of them that look so-called black and brown are probably, could be heathens too. We just don't know. Their forefathers could be a bunch of honkies. Or they're just wicked niggas, man. Straight up. All right? Okay, so it's not wise to carry. And ultimately what they're trying to do is, okay, they want you to carry your birth certificate and this, that, and the third. Why the fuck would you carry all these items with you? You're supposed to carry them very seldom. And if they say to you, okay, you got your documentation, okay, you could have at least a driving license, right? Your bare minimum in terms of documentation. They could say to you, okay, report to so-and-so police station on the Friday of the so-and-so and bring this X, Y, and Z with you, and we're going to verify you that you are legal or whatever. Okay, now if they don't have anything, then they can take them, right? But everybody's afraid. Okay? But they're not going to do that because they're just going to take you straight away. They're not going to even give you a chance to produce your documentation because nobody carries a damn documentation all the time with them. It's not even wise to. All right? 1 second. I typed in, is it wise to carry your birth certificate with you in America? All right. And this was, I was watching the elders sit down, man. Jacob Barak, one of my favorite teachers, the bishops. I was watching this sit down, and Elder Ayathan brought this out, and I believe is Bishop Taz, the Benjaminite elder. I believe, is it Bishop Taz? The Benjaminite elder. Salaki, if I got the name wrong, man. Right? He said that he was like pumped up by watching GMS Miami, and I think those brothers were touching on this as well. And it's, like as a snowball effect, you get, it starts making your mind think, right? And it's true. Ultimately, what they're trying to do is they're saying, okay, you got to carry all this ID with you. Then eventually they're gonna, as they deal with the blacks and Hispanics, then they're gonna start dealing with the so-called white man. They're gonna, and they've deleted all these so-called two white people so far. They deleted that Pretty guy, Pretti, that that nurse. All right, they deleted that lesbian woman. They're both so-called white people. So they're coming for so-called white people too, because once they try and suppress or compress, however you want to say, get one over Jake. Once they've like got most of the Jake population gripped up, they're gonna come for the so-called white man because ultimately they want to CHIP everybody. Okay, because listen, let me read this first. It is not generally, excuse me. It is generally not wise to carry your original birth certificate with you in America daily. It is generally not wise to carry your original birth certificate with you in America daily, as it is fragile, easily lost, and if stolen, can be used for identity theft. It is safer to keep it in a secure, fireproof place at home and only carry it when needed for specific rare purposes. Okay, like applying for a passport or a first driver's license. All right. And if you're going to carry this shit around with you all the time, all your IDs and everything, and somebody might leave them in the glove compartment or whatever, there's going to be a lot of break-ins. You know, people, they might even stage a whole bunch of break-ins, people's certificates being taken or just cars being turned over. Right? They're going to stage a whole bunch of shit, man, to make you think that, okay, shit, I got to get the micro C hip, the RFI to the D, the neuro LINK. I got to do that because that's going to be a way to verify you, to know who you are, that you're legal in America, that you're legal to work. And a lot of people that have a lot invested in America, even our people, they're going to take the CHIP. And they want you Israelites to take it because they want you under subjection. They don't want you in the way. They want to destroy your pineal gland, your connection to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. So they're trying to think, they think that they can get the elect that way. But the elect are covered from the foundation of the earth. You can't touch the elect of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, man. You can get the 2/3. You can get the heathen. Fuck them, right? But you're not gonna get the jakes that are chosen, right? Right. Key considerations, alternatives. A driver's license or a state-issued ID is sufficient for daily identification and domestic travel. And driver's license, even in the UK, right, are usually laminated. Okay? So that should be sufficient. They see that, they say, okay, cool. You're Paul Lopez, right? Or you're Paul I don't know, Leone or something, or whatever. You're Paul so-and-so, okay? Right? Okay, this is where you live. All right, report to your local police station, or verify yourself or whatever. They could do that, but they're not going to do that because ultimately they've been given free reign to do what the fuck they want, like it's a damn wild, wild west again. You know, gun slinging, gun toting, right? And a lot of these mercenaries, just like in the movie Purge, right? A lot of these guys wearing masks and that, the so-called white guys, they're Edomites that are from racist skinhead groups and these gangs and shit that are, these white supremacist so-called gangs. There's no such thing as white, okay? That was invented in the 1600s along with the term black, all right? And ain't nothing superior about not going in the sun and, is nothing superior about living the life of a vampire, hiding from the sun, getting burnt in the sun, smelling like hot dog water, having no rhythm or soul, okay, smelling like shit, being a fruitcake faggot, okay, nothing superior about that. Being underpopulated, not liking women, nothing superior about being a so-called white man. All right. Alternatives: a driver's license state-issued ID is sufficient. Risks: losing an original birth certificate requires a costly and time-consuming replacement process. Better practice: carry a scanned copy or a photo of your ID passport on your phone rather than the original documents. And some people have done that. That's still not sufficient because they believe that could be just a doctored picture or whatever. They don't believe it. You have to carry the real physical thing. Exceptions: you may need it for specific in-person administrative tasks such as hiring paperwork, etc., etc., etc. All right. And in the UK, right, they've made it illegal to touch a mobile phone. A couple of years ago, I touched my mobile phone. I wasn't even using it. A copper drove by it. All right. I got points on my driving's license, which means your insurance premium goes up. It stays on your license for approximately 4 years without any kind of incident. All right. So, for 25 years ago, you could drive down the road with your mobile on your side of you, just on the phone talking, whatever. Coppers wouldn't say a damn thing. Right. Okay. You could drink out in the open. I could drink in the park with a bottle of rum on my own without a paper bag prior to 2007. You could have your boys with you. We used to do this back in my university days. All of us Jakes, summertime in the park, we buy like maybe a case of beer, a bottle of vodka or whatever, and we just sit there. We call it a session. We'd get together, have our plastic cups, drink out in the open, shoot the shit. That's what we used to do. You can't do that no more. So slowly, your freedoms are being taken away. And also Elder Ayathan even mentioned the fact that Bishop Elder Ayathan mentioned that in America, they're going to bring the same sort of process as well, where if you touch your mobile phone when driving, you're going to get like, you're going to get in trouble with the police, So basically, they want to make everything kind of hands-free, and everything's going digital. So therefore, along with everything going digital, they want to get rid of all the paper and tangible items. They want everything like a scan. They want to scan you. So ultimately, what this is all leading up to is a MOTB. All these processes are putting in place for the MOTB, the mark of the beast, which is Revelation 13:16. Okay, now I've quoted a couple of scriptures, but let's read one. This was a verse of the day, by the way. Always check the verse of the day, and this is it's spiritual, man. Psalms 56:3. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. Okay? What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. All right? And we've got to trust in the Lord, man, in these times. And the elect are not going to be touched. And even if the elect are gripped up by ICE or here in the UK by the powers that be, that's good. Let them come. Yahweh Shemashai is going to step in and show himself even more. Just last night when I was feeling down, I looked up at the sky. I saw a chariot, right, just zoom through the sky and lighting it up like it was like a real silvery circle, giving me faith, because a lot our pineal gland, is opening up, and Yahweh Shemashai is dealing with the hopeful elect, showing us things. We can see things in a different dimension. You know what I'm trying to say? You Jakes know what I'm talking about. Those orbs, those angels, those flashes, spiritual numbers. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm not bigging or blowing my own trumpet. I'm just being honest and truthful, letting you know that Yahweh Shemashai is very real, man. Okay? Just gonna get some scriptures up, man. Right? Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. No matter what you're going through, right? You got to trust in the Lord. Ultimately, the Lord's going to put you in a predicament and get you out of it. Put you in a predicament and get you out of it. Build your faith up, build your faith up, build your faith up. Now, when the real heavy duty stuff happens, you've already built up. You've already sort of built up your, you think to yourself, okay, Lord got me out of that, Lord got me out of that. Man, the Lord is dealing with me, man. Your faith has been built up, and the Lord's just going to get you out of it. And as things progress and get heavy duty, the Lord, Yahweh is going to start doing the miracles. Isaiah 59:19, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Lord will lift up a standard, paraphrasing, which means the Lord will give some of his elect spiritual power, or you'll be next to a Jake with spiritual power, or an angel will be sent to protect you, or your angel that's around you anyway, or angels, will show themselves. Okay? And obviously they're showing you more spiritual things, so you don't get overwhelmed when they actually do show themselves and things start happening, whether it's visions or dreams or things in real time when you're awake. All right? Verse 6, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Okay? In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Okay? So the elect are not going to worry. All right? Let me just go to this. Now, this is from, I wasn't going to use this because this is from April last year. But it was spiritual, so I thought, okay, let me check it out. It's April 17th, 2025. Okay, it's 144. So I thought, okay, let me just use this article. Now, this is just an example. We've seen numerous examples, by the way, hundreds. Okay, what's going on in America? All right, but this one, U.S. born. I just thought just use this one as an example because it's still going on, and even in more of a gruesome fashion. They're gripping up children. You could be in court, right? You're invited to court to do X, Y, and Z or whatever, and ICE will be there, rushing into court, grabbing you. Isn't that illegal? Right? So you're trying to do the right thing, and ICE still won't leave you alone. This is all done by design. Okay? Your children could be at school. They still grip your children up. They're outside, brown, in neighborhoods and hoods and barrios and, neighborhoods and, where a strong Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian population are. Right? Or maybe even Israelite foreigners. I don't know. Because I believe they deployed a bunch of East Indians too. Right? A lot of them are heathens, but, But let's read this. US-born American citizen under ICE hold in Florida after driving from Georgia. Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez is being held even though a county judge found his birth certificate authentic and said there wasn't reason to consider him an illegal alien. Man, the only illegal aliens are you honkies, man. You need to get the fuck back to the Caucasus Mountains, man, or Mount Seir. Better yet. All right, but we're gonna have you under subjection soon, Lord willing, man. All right. A US born American citizen who lives in Georgia remains held in Florida at ICE's request after he was stopped by Florida Highway Patrol, charged under a straight immigration law. All right. A US born American citizen was being detained at the request of immigration authorities, despite an advocate showing his US birth certificate in court and county judge finding no reason for him to be considered an illegal alien who illegally entered Florida. Okay, where are all the Russian last names? Where are all the Polish last names? Where are all those crackers at? I see these Edomites here in the UK, Polish and Russian, right? Just drunk outside what we call them. You call them liquor stores in America. We call them off licenses here, or outside the liquor store here. Just standing there drinking with paper bags over their drinks. That's all they do. They're a bunch of scumbags, man. All right. Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, 20, was arrested Thursday evening by Florida Highway Patrol and charged under state immigration law that has been temporarily blocked since early this month. That was last year, of course. But obviously, it's progressed and it's even more serious. All right. Okay, he's detained at ICE's request. Everything tracks for him, being sent to an ICE detention center. So a lot of them are being sent to detention centers, which are going to basically will be ultimately concentration camps. That's why you see a lot of these. If you look where Toys R Us's and Walmarts and all these kind of buildings that used to be there, and they're huge, huge buildings and warehouses, right? And they're shut down now, right? They've probably got their men working and they're turning them into concentration camps with the look of a closed down store, but they're probably changing. They're putting in the work right now. Okay. Lopez Gomez was born in Georgia but lived much of his life in Mexico. His first language is Tzotzil, a Mayan language, probably like a broken version of Hebrew, the Florida Phoenix Report. And he's a so-called Mexican, right? So he's a tribe of Issachar, which means he's a native Mexican, which means California or Califas, as the Mexican brothers would say, Issachar would say, belongs to them. So they are, if you want to call it in today's terms, they are American, right? His mother burst into tears when she saw her son virtually at his hearing, the news site reported. I felt immense helplessness because I couldn't do anything, and I am desperate to get my son out of there, she told the Florida Phoenix. And there's a lot of tears, man, since the chattel slavery days up until this time. These damn devils do not leave you Israelites alone, and you still want to fucking love them, man. You know? That's why I hate you 2/3. You want to love these damn devils, man. All right? You want to be equal. We want equality. Fuck equality, man. We want superior. We are superior than them anyway. And the Lord's going to put us in a position where we are ruling over these motherfuckers very soon, man. All right? And this is ultimately all leading up to that day when the mark will be implemented. Let's just read that. Okay. It's been 28 minutes now, and I'm trying to make short videos, so because I understand Jake's concentration level is low, and that's not just for Jake. That's for pretty much everyone. Sometimes you're busy and time is going fast. Well, the time that's a beautiful thing. The Lord has sped out the time for the elect's sake. All right, otherwise no flesh shall be saved. Paraphrasing. All right, let's go to Revelation 13. Verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right. As we're, agreeing to their methods and their doctrine. All right. And that's why they're getting rid of the Bible as well. All right. They want everything centered around their New World Order. And ultimately, this is what they want. Everything's going digital. Right. They even show you in their movies like Back to the Future 2, what's the fashion in the future, as Dr. Emmett Brown would say to Marty McFly. Oh, the fashion in the future is all the children, all the people wear their pants pockets inside out. Why? Because they don't need to carry nothing. All right, because it's gonna be. But they show in the movie that he's using his thumbprint to pay when Biff plays for the taxi. Do you remember when he goes back in time in part 2? To become that version of Trump, a millionaire. All right. So they show you in movies, man. They want everything digital. They want everything at the touch of a hand or a swipe of a hand. They want everything in you. Okay? This is ultimately going to scare a bunch of people. So when everything does go down and the financial system crashes, they will implement this and people will line up. The same way they did and were scared shitless when the 1-9 thing happened. Oh, I got to get it. I want to go back to work. Oh, I'm scared for my family. Oh, I can't hug you. Oh, stay 6 feet away. People are dumb, right? People are dumb. All right. I knew through the spirit back then, Bhakti Habashim Ashai, it was bullshit. All right. And Bhakti Habashim Ashai, a lot of us didn't take it. And Lord willing, we're going to have the same mindset. And may Yahweh Bashim Ashai cover the hope for elect, man. May we make it through. All right. Because these crackers are going to come down hard. All right. Because, when you're hungry and you need a roof over your head and your kids are crying and starving, all right, people will line up and take it. All right. Verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, okay, your regular folk, your folks with names, rich and poor, your people with mansions and your Lamborghinis and your what do you call them, supercars or whatever. All right, they're gonna come for you too, free and bond, Jakes that are walking on the street, or people that are walking on the street, and people that are locked down, right, to receive a mark. Now here, if you go to the blue letter, mark in the Greek would be charagma, all right, which means insertion or etching into the flesh or penetration, all right, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, okay. It's already happening. What did the MUSK do? Neuralink trials have been successful in the UK and in America, right? Okay, and they're gonna make those neura links in mass. Basically, it's gonna be like they're gonna make millions of them. All right, and they're getting ready, and they're making them in mass right now in 2026. Why? Because they know something is coming. They're gonna do something. All right, they want to get the new world order off the ground. But the Lord Yahweh Shemashah is going to step in. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay? You won't be able to buy or sell, man, without the mark. Okay? You won't be able to go into a store and say, oh, yeah, like these dumb fucking idiots say, these other fake camps or these sellout camps saying, the mark of the beast is worshipping Caesar Borgia. You shouldn't be worshipping no damn cracker anyway or any kind of idol. Okay, but that's not the mark of the beast. Okay, or mark of the beast is having sex with a so-called white woman. Listen, you can have sex with any woman you want as long as she's single. All right, and fine. All right, okay, and the main thing is don't follow her doctrine. You just deal with it. The main dynamic between a male and female is bedroom action, relief. Okay, so therefore you can deal with any woman you want as long as she's single and you don't follow her doctrine. If she could be a Ish person, or she could be East Indian Hindu or Muslim, or she's a Ethiopian Muslim, or she's a so-called white woman, that's just crazy, or into some kind of witchcraft or whatever. You tell the bitch to stop it, and also you just deal with her. And there's no enchantment against Jacob, so you just deal with her, man, through the Spirit. Okay, the Lord will cover you. All right, because she won't even think about doing nothing to you, especially if you are part of the Lord's sheep. But nevertheless, let's get back to this verse again. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay, you can't go into a store saying, "Oh, I've got the, so and so's got the mark of the beast," and I deal with white women, and you worship Caesar Borgia or whatever, right? And I'm gonna get like a loaf of bread and 3 dozen eggs or whatever. It ain't gonna work that way. You're gonna have to have the mark to buy and sell, and they always show you in rap videos. They've shown it in cartoons. They've shown it in movies. Okay, there was a Justin Timberlake movie that came out in 2009, 2010, Out of Time or whatever. That was just a different version of the charagma, man. Okay, everybody in subjection. You couldn't really build up your wealth. You had to use it in a specific amount of time. Okay, so they're letting you know how it's going to be, or how they want it to be. But it's going to be, their version is going to be way more gruesome. But they're not going to get there. Esau's not going to get there because they've had their time in the sun. They've been weighed, and there are bounds that they cannot pass. So they've had their rulership. They can't keep ruling. No heathen kingdom ruled forever. And we're in the worst, shittiest one ever. We're at like in the book of Daniel, man, the statue, we're at the concrete feet. The gold head, I believe that was Babylon. That was the baddest heathen rulership. Okay? Now we're at the concrete feet, crumbling. Literally like these damn roads. There's always fucking roadworks going on. Right? and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. 666. That's very spiritual as well. The fact is verse 18, and 18 is 6 times 3, 18, 666. You know, sometimes these numbers connect up with spiritual, like Psalms 144, verse 1, 144. Blessed be, paraphrasing, blessed be the Lord that teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. And then 144 you're going to be getting down. And here in Revelation 13:18 is talking about 666, and 18 is 3 sixes. All right. So ultimately, this is what it's going to, man. This is just another way to push the MOTB. All right. Let's read the verse of the day again, man. Oh, because a different verse popped up. 1 second. 1 second. I think that verse of the day was from last night, and it's 9:12 a.m. right now. So therefore, a new verse of the day must have popped up. So, but nevertheless, that's the verse that I got. This is the verse that I got this morning on verse of the day, King James Version, inspirational. What's it called? Inspirational. Inspirational. Yeah, verse of the day, Psalms 56:3. This is the verse that I got this morning when I clicked on verse of the day. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. Okay, when we're afraid, and what did the Lord say, man? Call upon me in the day of trouble, man. We're going to call upon the Lord, and we have the name. All right, and the elect call upon the holy name, man. The name of Yahweh Hashem Yeshua. Acts 4:12. There's only one name under heaven that we must be saved. All right. I'm going to leave it there now. All praises, honor, glory, and blessings and power be to Yahweh Hashem Yeshua, Bashem Rakak Wadash, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwam Yashrala, Shalom.